Our second dose of rugby of the day from southwest France. The final whistle has gone at the Stade Ernest Vallon. Stade Toulousain, the champions in the Champions Cup, hosting Leicester Tigers, former two-time winners of this title. This will be a competitive, fun game, won't it? Spoiler alert, here comes the result. Earlier on, we thought that 66-12 Bordeaux beating Sharks was a beatdown. Toulouse said, hold my beer. 80 points to 12. I am so confused at this point. I don't know whether to just marvel at the absolute majesty of the rugby that Stade Toulousain, and Bordeaux for that matter, play, or whether to go in hard on Leicester Tigers here. Because I look at that scoreline and I think, well, I want to do both. I want to make sure I do both. But before I do that, let me just firstly say thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I'm Tim and this is Egg Chasers. Please give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And I want to just say where I'm coming from with this. I've talked about this on the channel before. As far as I'm concerned, this competition is, and certainly when it gets to the latter stages, it still is, but it should be, from start to finish, the most prestigious club rugby competition in the world. The highest quality rugby competition in the world. As close as you get to test match rugby without playing international. In club colours, it's as good as rugby gets. And the 30-year history of this competition has brought me some of my favourite memories. The Champions Cup, Heineken Cup as it was called, absolutely epic. And some of the greatest games of rugby I've ever watched have been in this competition. So I love it. I love it. And I want so desperately this competition to live up to the glory that's gone before it. And in some respects, it 100% is. I think there's an argument that if you're not already there to make the statement, in future, we, just like with the current South Africa national team, I've said before, I think we're watching what will be regarded as the greatest rugby team we've ever seen in real time, right now. That's on the international pitch. On the club pitch, I think right now we are witnessing and should appreciate the fact that we are watching the greatest club rugby side that there has ever been. Should they go on and win another title this year and take Toulouse's record to 7, the way that they're playing as well as the results that they're getting it's just rugby from another planet. And the talent, and a lot of that comes down to the cash that they're able to offer. But it's also the fact that it's like the success, which is just in the DNA of Toulouse. They expect to win, and they go out there to win. They haven't only won 7 Champions Cup titles. They have won, I think it's 22. Might even be more than that. I might have got my wrong. But anyway, it's so many top 14 titles that I cannot remember exactly how many it is. I think it might be 22. It's lots. It's just in the DNA of the club and the players that they have that went out on that pitch. And just so let me focus on the positives. France, if Fabien Galtier can transfer the club form of some of these guys onto the international stage, they're in a very good place. 2 more tries for Antoine Dupont, who was just insane again. 2 more tries for Emmanuel Meafou, who is just a beast. 2 tries for Thibaut Flamand, and that Meafou-Flamand combination, chef's kiss. What more would you want from a pair of second rows than that combination of the 2 together? 2 from Capuozzo, who quite often doesn't get in the starting team for Toulouse. And at one point, they had 4 international fullbacks on the pitch at the same time. Such is the depth and talent. Marchand is like Malvaca. We're not going to start Malvaca this week. Leicester Tigers. Oh, that's a relief. Who's starting? Julien Marchand. Oh, another exceptional player. He got a try. Delib Ramos, who also got 9 conversions, and Mathis Lebel. And they could have scored more as well. What's that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 tries. 80 points. A point a minute. And so I will just marvel at the way Toulouse play. And there's one player I haven't mentioned, Jacques Willis. It pains me watching this guy. No, I have so much joy. This is what this competition has done, actually. This is the perfect the way I feel about Jack Willis is the way I feel about the Champions Cup. It makes me so happy to watch, and it brings me pain at the same time. That pleasure, pain, it's real. I'm living in both ends because I watch Jack Willis and I think, wow, how much better has he got playing in the southwest of France? How much better has he got being coached by Hugo Mola and playing with Dupont and Ramos and all these incredible players? He's so much better. The pain is the rules mean he can't play for England. Just change the rules. This guy is legit. So I've been doing my player power ranking series, ranking the top 10 players in the world. I honestly think Jack Willis could be the best open side flanker in the world. Maybe number 2 at the minute behind Josh van der Fleer. He's that good. He is that good. Some of the turnovers he did today were insane. His maul defence, his breakdown is just so good. And I don't want him. At the minute, the only way that he gets to play for England is if he leaves the best club team we've maybe ever seen and gone to a team which, in all likelihood, won't be able to compete on the top stage in the Champions Cup. Which brings me to the flip side of my thoughts on this competition. Firstly, that's unacceptable from Leicester Tigers. When I did a preview of round 4 a few days ago, I did speculate that Leicester, who've already guaranteed 3rd position in the pool and probably would think, well, we're unlikely to, well, we've got a chance, but we probably won't beat Toulouse, or we might be competitive, but we've got a big game in the Premiership against Gloucester. Why don't we just take the 3rd place? And I love the fact, firstly, that Michael Cheika went, no, we're playing Toulouse. Let's go. Let's give them our best. And they put their England internationals out there: George Martin, Ollie Chesham, Jack Van Portfleet, Freddie Stewart, Joe Hayes. These guys that are all in England's training squad for the Six Nations. They put Andre Pollard out there. They put Julien Montoya out there. 2 incredible international guys, and the rest. And then they went and got absolutely spanked anyway. That's the sort of scoreline you would expect if Leicester had sent their 2nd string team. But they sent their best and got absolutely pumped. Which, I mean, results like that shouldn't be happening. Now, I said it on the video earlier. 24 teams is too many teams. I should have thought about this. So there's 16 in the URC. There's 14 in the top 14. There's 10 in the Premiership. So there's 40 top-tier professional clubs in the 3 competitions that make up the Champions Cup. 40. 24 of them, more than half, qualify for the Champions Cup. It's just too diluted. The quantity is too much. The quality is nowhere near good enough. And then the absolute joke, in my humble opinion, is that of the 24 teams that are in the competition, which is too many, I would go back to at least 20, maybe even 16 would be preferable. 4 pools of 4, play every team in your pool home and away. Seems logical to me. But the worst decision, in my humble opinion, again, tell me if you disagree in the comments, is having a round of 16. Because, yeah, it will be fun. In a couple of months' time, after the Six Nations, it will be fun. Those games could be really good. And I get that weekend will be great. But the problem with that weekend being great is the flip side is the pool stages are an absolute shambles. Because you have got teams that are not good enough to compete, that are getting into the competition in the first place. And you have got too many teams going through. So as I used in the example earlier, and I'm not picking on you, Ulster, but the fact Ulster have qualified, what credible competition has Ulster winning 1 game, getting absolutely pumped? Well, I mean, Leicester have, I can just keep it with Leicester. They've qualified and they've just been absolutely pumped. And it's Leicester Tigers. This is Leicester Tigers with all of their big guns out on the pitch. It's Leicester Tigers, 2-time winners of this tournament, getting a cricket score put on them by the current champions. And that's not just to beat up on Leicester. There are lots and lots of reasons for this. When I was reflecting on the Sharks earlier and their heavy defeat in Bordeaux, the travelling that the South African teams have to do, it's not just that they have to travel across the world for a game. The South African teams in particular have really long travelling processes. It's that they very rarely just do a straight flight like English teams when they go down there will just go, oh, we'll go London to Cape Town. No, that's not what the South African teams have to do. They have to go via, I think it's due to contractual sponsorship things. They have to go via the Middle East. So it's rough. There's that. There's the scheduling, the fact that there's travelling being done, and then the next week you're back where you were. It just hasn't all been joined up. So I've got lots of frustrations, which you can probably hear. I've talked about them before, and I will talk about them again. But whatever the case, that is not an excuse for that result. And I don't just want to hammer Leicester Tigers for that. That's I commend Leicester for taking their strongest team. I would love to hear what the halftime team talk was when they were 42-0 down from Michael Checker, because honestly, apparently they got the hairdryer treatment last week when they were only narrowly up against Ulster. I can't imagine what Michael Checker was saying when they were 42-0 down. A team of the quality of Leicester Tigers, clearly not of the quality of Toulouse, who are just, as I say, I don't know what higher praise I can say. I think they will be regarded as the greatest club team we have ever seen. And there's financial clout that goes with that, like I say, but a lot of it it's a special bunch of players which has been assembled, but I think they even get better than the sum of their parts because of the work that they do together, because of the way that they're coached. And then when you add on top of that, the noise that crowd make in Toulouse, it's absolutely dynamite. And, well, we'll wait and see. In fact, I'll have to go and crunch some numbers now. I will confess as well, I didn't watch all of this game. I should have mentioned this earlier, because that was the game going on at the same time. And whilst Leicester were getting pumped, Castres were pulling off a famous win away at Saracens, another former 3-time champion, and Castres, who have generally speaking been really good at home but haven't been able to take their form on the road, they did. And as much as Antoine Dupont, best scrum half in the world, if you've been watching my player power ranking series, I had Santiago Arata right up the list as well, and he was awesome for Castres and made a difference in that second half, taking the game away from Sarries. Famous win for Castres. And again, another English team that got beaten. They will qualify, but they're now going to have to travel away in the round of 16. And Castres, who are so good at home, are another French side that's going to have a home tie. That's massive for them. So there's been some really fun games, and just look to Northampton against Munster for how this pool stage has been. And I thought the rugby this weekend, for all of the cricket score stuff, this game, the stuff I saw was ace. The rugby I saw from Toulouse was brilliant, but not competitive enough. There has been some really competitive stuff. So I don't just want to labour on the negative, but there are clearly some issues. But you just got to doff your cap to what is an unreal rugby team. Right, I'm going to go watch the final game of the weekend and of the pool stages. Sale Sharks hosting Toulon. See you on the next one.